All right, welcome to today's training on my 5-step Facebook campaign jumpstart really system. Okay, what it is it's a simple 5-step process that you can and should use as a template to jumpstart any Facebook ad campaign. All right, so this is really meant for any brand new Facebook advertising. If you've never run Facebook ads and you're just completely overwhelmed by all the options and a lot of the trainings out there that are a lot of different strategies that they're talking about, and including myself. Okay, we talk about a lot of cutting edge strategies that really work, but sometimes it can feel overwhelming, and sometimes you feel like you just can't do it all, so you don't do anything. If that is you, just type it in. Just type in why or yes, that's me, or it has been me in the past. Love to hear that. So that's what today's training is for. Okay. Now, if you've been running Facebook ads for a year or 2 years even, this is still going to be really great for you because it's a template. Okay. And it's a template that you can use. And at the end, I'll show you how you can actually I'll show you how you can get access to all the entire presentation and all the slides. So it'll be like more like a checklist for you. So, let's see here. So yes, you bet. That's me. Totally cool. Experience. So if you're experienced too, same thing. I think this will be a great template for you to start with and use with any campaigns that you're using, and just kind of like really have a good foundation. So today's training is going to be basically similar to like one of my live events, in-person events, workshop style. So it's going to be teaching the entire time. So please be very try to pay close attention, close down any other windows, make sure your phone's on silent, turned upside down, all the notifications are off, so you can really pay close attention, because there's going to be a lot of stuff. And this training is meant for people that are, I didn't run any Facebook ads to this webinar or anything like that. Okay, this is for people that are already kind of in my world. So I know that I want to make this training very relevant to you, but it's a lot of stuff. So just take good notes and pay close attention. It will be worth it. Okay, I promise you. So, and very interactive as we go. So Facebook. 23% of the total time spent on mobile devices is spent on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, that's more than all the other apps like Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat combined. Okay, so people are on Facebook. It's still growing. I forget the numbers, but from June to September of this year, Facebook grew like 4.5%. That's crazy. Facebook worldwide. So Facebook is really growing still. It's kind of making a resurgence with a lot of it's like what happens is you have these teenagers that are, they're like, Facebook isn't cool. It's for older people, right? And then all of a sudden you see them, they get into college and they all start, the ones that are like the really, next generation that people are kind of saying that Facebook isn't relevant anymore, isn't cool. What's happening is all these people that think it's not cool, they get into college, they get towards the end of college, and then they start really getting back into Facebook again. And we're seeing that in tons of different areas. So Facebook is, if you're selling to teenagers only, yeah, they're on there, but you're probably going to be better off using some of these other platforms. But if your product or service is catering to anybody 21 years old and up, then you've got to be on Facebook because your customers are there. So the question is, can you put put the right message in front of the right audience and turn cold audiences into customers, right? And that's what this is all about. So the last couple webinars I've done recently is about really creating like 4 ad campaigns that turn cold audiences into customers. And today I'm going to give you a 5-step process that you can use for all those campaigns. So even if you're creating 4 different types of campaigns, this 5-step process today you can use on each of those campaigns. Okay, so, and it's going to be very step by step. So let's get right into it. So what you're going to learn today is the first 5 things you must do when launching any new Facebook campaign. The 4 key custom audiences you should create before you start running any campaigns. This is the backbone of Facebook, and really one of the the custom audience and lookalike audiences are the biggest game changers over the past year and a half, and they've really improved recently too. So you've got to be tapping into that. So the other thing I'm going to show you is the 4 ad sets that you should begin every campaign with. This is a low-hanging fruit, okay? And in a nutshell, it's really how to guarantee a winning campaign right out of the gates. Sound cool? Go ahead and type in the question box yes if you're if that sounds like something you're interested in and you're ready to get, you know, just get the template, get the system so you can use it in your business over and over and over again. Awesome. Lots of people excited. Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Yes. All right, cool. All right, so this is a cool little story that's still developing right now with one of our coaching clients, and Aaron Chang Photography. It's just an example that I feel is very relevant to a lot of people, a lot of you listening right now and watching on this webinar, because this is a case of somebody running Facebook ads and taking action, right? Taking action and realizing that what's the best, what's the one thing that I can do, doing it, feeling like it's like, I feel like I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall, but I don't really know what I'm doing. This is the conversation that I'm having with them, you know, right after they landed one of the biggest client they'd ever landed. Because what happens is if you just take action, and I'm going to show you today really a great process to be able to take action and give you the least amount of risk and give you the maximum amount of potential gains. But basically, they're in a situation where they've got local art galleries, and because of their Facebook ad campaigns, they've been able to now start building a national and international audience and customer base. They just sold a several $1,000 piece to somebody in another state via Facebook ads on their website, which had never been done before they started running Facebook ads. And so they have this situation right now where really for them it was one video ad that landed a couple big clients, and what they're doing now is they're leveraging that, and now they're focusing on redesigning their website and building a better machine, basically, because they got some momentum. Okay, that's what today's all about. They got some momentum with some ads that weren't perfect, and now they're building a better machine, and they're working with my team and I at the highest level coaching to really sharpen things up. But that doesn't have to be the first step, and it wasn't for them. If they would have been all worried about trying to build this super elaborate, complex machine right out of the gate, they never would have got their ads up and running, and they never would have landed that client, which let them leverage the results to now focus on building a true machine and put more time and money into their team, into their businesses, and their advertising, which is really cool to see. So it's something that I've seen in several different situations. Okay. Another great example is Julie here. She's another one of my coaching clients she's a fiction author, and had never just started writing fiction books about a little over 3 years ago, and basically went from never writing a fiction book to becoming a New York Times best-selling author, and now has written, geez Louise, I wish I had the number, how many books she's written over the last 3 years. She's written a lot, like 20 plus books probably. They're good, but she has hustled to build her organic following and then amplified that with Facebook ads. And really, for her, it was the same thing. Taking action, getting results, getting the momentum, okay? The momentum, targeting those basic core audiences that I'm going to show you today. And then after that, she started adding more complex stuff. And it just continues to build. It's like, so now every time she launches a book, what happens is it does better and better and better. You know, obviously it's got to be a good book. If it's a crappy book, it's not going to sell, but it'll sell initially, then peter off. But so this is the one that she just recently launched. You'll see here, which is showing number 9 in overall Amazon, next to John Grisham, James Patterson, Michael Connolly, Janet Ivanovich, and this is really like number 5 overall because of the some of the new releases that aren't really ranked higher than that. But the point is she's an independent, non-published. She does not have a big publisher independent author, and it's because she combines her hustle, and also with like Facebook video ads and stuff like that, and just amplifying her content to her warm audiences, and just continuing to build those turn cold audiences into warm audiences. And next thing you know, each book that she launches now does better and better and better because of the stuff that she was doing 9 months ago. That, yeah, she felt back then, she felt maybe that it wasn't the right thing to do, but it was building her audience, generating leads, learning, improving her learning curve. And so it's a compounding effect. You have to think about Facebook as almost like some kind of investing portfolio, right? It's a compounding exponential increase when you start to push out 10, 20 years. Facebook's the same way, but it's like 10 years to Facebook is like 10 years of investing is like 6 months on Facebook. So your learning curve, your audience building, it's all exponential. And so the work that you do now makes a big impact on how successful you are 8, 9, 10 months from now. So today's training is all about how you can get results right now, but it's also going to help you set the right foundation to have a lot more success in 2016. All right. So yeah, another one example is just how to, if you use some of the things that I'm going to talk about today, it's what we're seeing where we've been helping Frank out recently with some stuff, is that some of his campaigns now, the profit per lead has never been higher before, because we're doing things where we're building that relationship and using the low-hanging fruit audiences and those types of things. And it can be really, really exciting. I'm going to show you not only what we're doing, we're also teaching some of the smartest people out there, but we're also doing it, like you see here, in 33 different ad accounts, $300,000 in the last month or so. Lots of money that we're overseeing at the agency level, with Ralph managing and the CEO of the agency of Dominate Web Media, and then myself oversees the coaching side of the business. And so we're inside of a lot of accounts every single day. So, and then of course, we've been lucky enough to be able to be assigned a partner manager with Facebook. And this is the craziest story ever. It's just the coolest thing for me. So we found out we got a partner manager, which is the highest level of support at Facebook. It's not a typical agency manager or agency rep. There's only, according to him, 100 to 150 businesses that have this level of support. We get to get on calls every 2 weeks, and we get to get account audits. We get to get help and support with ad policy issues, strategy, new changes coming out, crazy. But the thing is after about a week or so after he found out that we were assigned to him, he emails me and he's like, Keith, I didn't realize it, but I actually bought your book back when I got hired with Facebook. I got hired with Facebook, and I went to Amazon, and I bought your book, and I used your book as a study guide to prep for my job. And so he's like, I want to come in, and is it cool if I bring it in and have you sign it when we meet up? When Ralph, Molly, and I went up and met up with him in Austin, Texas. And he brought the book, had me sign it, and I looked through it and it had notes all over it. It was so cool. Really, really cool. And then I was like, dude, you gotta let me take a picture with you, because now the roles are reversed. So it's pretty cool, pretty serendipitous. So so very cool. Olivia. So Julie's the one who sent you here. That's so awesome. Julie's so awesome. If you're an author, I would watch, learn from her. She does things slightly differently, and she's always on the cutting edge, and I love it. So I love working with Julie. All right, so let's get right into it. All right, we're going to get right into the content here. So get ready to take some notes and take some action right after this. So, like I said, this is not like theory that I'm showing you. This is stuff that we're doing every day, but also this is like these aren't big high-level strategies. These are very tactical stuff. So that's what today's training is focused on. So step number 1. Any new campaign. Okay, this is about any new campaign that you're going to run. So like I said, newbie or if you've been a seasoned Facebook advertiser. What I want you to do is I want you to go into Facebook audiences, and I want you to create 4 custom audiences and 1% lookalike audiences based off each one of these. And I'll show you exactly what I mean here. Now, if you're an expert, or like not necessarily an expert, but you've been running Facebook ads for like a year or so, you might want to create more than 4 custom audiences. And we have more than 4 custom audiences in each of our account and our clients' accounts. But this is the foundation. This is all you need to start out with. This is what you want to think about. You don't want to worry about trying to create any more than this, because you'll get overwhelmed and it'll be too confusing. And what happens is when you try to do too much on Facebook, is your opportunity costs outweigh your just getting results. So when you try to sometimes do too much, like split test too many images and ad copy and all this stuff, then you end up just hurting yourself in the end. So you really want to just keep it simple and let Facebook's really ninja algorithm do the work for you, and then you can add on layers to that. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean here. This is, whoops, actually hold on a second here. Looks like we got to fix this slide a bit here. Okay. I know. I just got to delete that one. That's what happened. Okay, perfect. All right, so I can't see my mouse, darn it. Hold on a second, guys. Switched over to crap. There we go. All right, so just in case you don't know what a custom audience is, I want to read you the definition right from Facebook, because it's a great definition. So what is a custom audience? Custom audiences let you reach customers who already know, custom audiences let you reach customers you already know with ads on Facebook. Boom. You can upload a list of email addresses or phone numbers of at least 20 people, and we'll deliver your ad to those people if they're on Facebook. You can also build audiences from people that visit your website or from people who use your mobile app. Period. That's a custom audience. So a custom audience can be a list that you have, like in your Aweber or Infusionsoft, or just from a spreadsheet you have locally that people give you at your local store. Or you can create a custom audience based off website visitors. So everybody that hits your website, right? Or your landing page or your thank you page. That's a custom audience. Now, what is a lookalike audience? Okay, Facebook's definition. What are lookalike audiences? Lookalike audiences are ways to reach new people who are likely to be interested in your business because they're similar to customers you care about, or subscribers or leads, right? Okay, you can base your lookalike audience on a variety of sources. Example, people who like your page or visited your website or opted into your list or bought a product. Okay, so basically, and the other thing is you can only create lookalike audiences for one country at a time. So if you want to have like 5 countries, then you'll just have to create 5, one for each country. So that's a lookalike audience. Okay, these custom audiences and lookalike audiences are going to be kind of like the foundation of this training today. So your first 4 custom audiences that I want you to create are these. Number 1. Now I'm going to show you in Facebook what these look like. Okay. So I'm going to show you all of this, kind of what it looks like in the Ads Manager. So don't worry if you can't visualize it yet. So the first 4 custom audiences that you're going to focus on and you're going to create in Facebook are all contacts, all customers. So how you do this, you just export all your contacts from whatever your email autoresponder or CRM solution is into a CSV file, right? A CSV file. And email is, you use email only. Okay, if you have all the other data like phone number, address, and all that, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to work. Facebook's still going to only look for email addresses. So just so you know that, if you want to delete all that stuff, you can, but it doesn't matter. Okay, then do another one for all customers. So you have those 2 separate lists that you're going to upload into Facebook. All right. Then you're going to create a website custom audience for all website visitors for 180 days. And we're going to put 180 to just to make this so you're not confused, because you want to start out that 180 days. And we'll use 180 days for this one. That's the maximum you can select with Facebook when you're creating a website custom audience. And what this will do is it will track anybody that's hit any page on your website in the last 180 days. And then that'll be an audience that you can target. So instead of targeting somebody who likes Tony Robbins or baseball or the Seattle Seahawks, I can target people who have visited my website. Pretty cool. Now, the other one that you're going to need right off the bat is a conversion thank you page URL. Okay, same thing. Set it to 180 days, the max. So what's this? This is the page that people land on after they opt in to your lead magnet. After they opt in for your checklist, your opt in to register for a webinar, or maybe your conversion mechanism is selling a product. So that's the page, the confirmation page they land on. This is really important because you don't want, in most of your campaigns, you don't want people that have already converted to see the same ads over and over again. You're going to start getting negative feedback. That's going to affect your account and your quality score, your relevance score, okay? And that will kind of irritate people. So these are the first 4 that you're going to want to create. If you want to have one for your landing page, you can create one for that too. But I want to keep it simple. All right, so how do you do this? Step 1 is to... So Renee, that's a great question on the website visitors audiences. Do you have a pixel already embedded on a website to create custom website visitors? Yes, you will need that pixel on your website. So, and I'll kind of show you that here in a second. So basically, let's say I want to create those first 2 custom audiences, my all contacts, which is all subscribers, right? It's anybody that's on my list, which in customers, non-customers, everything. You're going to want to just do all of your, as many contacts as you have in your system. All right. So you're going to select custom audience right there. It's inside your ads manager. And then after you click that, this window is going to pop up right here. And it says, how do you want to add customers to this audience? Now, they say customers, but it's it's not necessarily customers. It should be like your list is what it should be, but that's just Facebook. Okay, so we're not doing customers. We're just doing all subscribers, all contacts, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to click this top one here, upload a file. All right. And then after you click that, what happens is you get this window here on the left, and you can choose emails, app users, phone numbers, or mobile advertiser IDs. We're going to focus on emails. This is what we use most of the time for all of our campaigns. If you're promoting an app download, that's a different story, and you're going to use app users, right? So in this case, we're going to use emails. And then over here, what happens is this is selected, and then I click upload file right here. And then over here, I uploaded a CSV list. Okay, so I uploaded a list here. It's like an Excel spreadsheet, CSV. I have to check I agree to Facebook custom audience terms. And then I click create audience. All right, boom. Create a custom audience. Thanks for creating a custom audience. 21,115 records uploaded. View error report. That's always going to be there. Just don't worry about that. There's always going to be errors because not all the records are going to match. Okay. So what happens is Facebook's going to take this list of 21,000 emails and they're going to try to match them up. Okay, are they using the same email that they log into Facebook with? So for example, I have like a Gmail account that I use for Facebook, and sometimes I use my branded email for other things that I opted in for, right? Or maybe it's like a different email address I use. So if I'm using a different email than I use log into Facebook with, then I'm not going to be in this audience here, right? So Facebook matches that up. It takes about a few minutes. It's actually pretty fast. It'll take up to 30 minutes for your audience to be ready to use. Then we'll notify you when your audience is ready. All right. So then you hit next. This is important here. Next. Notice what they give you here is don't worry about creating an ad, okay? Just the second one here is you can expand your audience. Facebook can help you reach more people that matter to your business by finding people that are similar to your source audience. What is this? This is a lookalike audience, okay? Really, ideally, I would rather Facebook, so they don't confuse it so much, the text here really honestly should be this, just so you're not confused. All right, so whoops, here's my Gill Sans here, black, and I'm going to call this create custom audience. Now, that's really what it should say. So right over that, see that? Parentheses. That's what you're doing here. So create custom audience. Let's put it right here. So right when you create your custom audience, whoops, sorry, I messed that up. Create look-alike audience. All right. So right after you create your custom audience, you can create a lookalike audience right there, and Facebook will do that. So if I click, instead of clicking done, I'm going to click this box right here. So when I click this box right here, what's going to happen is it's going to pop this window open. Create a lookalike audience, right? And you can do this later too. If you don't do that right away, you can always create a lookalike audience off of any custom audience that you have. So what you're going to do now is, what I recommend for this 5-step process is to start off with 1%. Okay, you can always add, we can add more later with more advanced stuff, which we talk about inside my Facebook Ads Blueprint program, okay? But you're going to start out with this, 1% and whatever your country is. So US. Now, notice here that this is a lookalike US 1%. Audience size ranges from 1% to 10% of the total population in the country you choose. With 1%, with 1% being those who most closely match your source. So the US has the most population with most of these countries, right, that we're using. There's other countries that have a higher population, but like if we're comparing it to like Australia or Canada or something like that, or a European country, US audiences are pretty big on, especially on Facebook, you know. So a 1% audience is 1.9 million people. What that's saying is that's basically 1% of the entire Facebook users in the United States. So there's basically 190 million people on Facebook in the US. Okay, so if I go all the way up to 10%, that's going to be 19 million. So a 19 million audience is going to be really too broad and too big for you. There's definitely a lot of cases where we do use the 2%, 3%, and 5%, and sometimes the 10 in different situations. But for the purpose of this, 1% is going to be your audience that you're going to create. All right. So then what we do is I'm going to go ahead and click confirm, and then boom. Now, by doing that, I have an audience, okay? Let's go back up to this and actually, yeah. So I have an audience now of 1.9 million people that will have similar interests, behaviors, income, similar maybe car they drive, pages they like, all these things as my prospects, okay? And so this is really, really powerful, because this in some cases can be really good audiences for you to use with your ads. Now, the one important thing to realize is the more data that Facebook has, the better. So I'll talk about that in a second here. So let's go back to the list. So the number one is you're going to do all contacts, right? The next one that you're going to do is all customers. So you're going to do the same process that I just walked you through, and for your customer. And if you don't have more than 20 customers, then you won't be able to do it. You've got to have at least 20 customers to create that custom audience. However, to create the lookalike audience, you have to have at least 100 people in that list. And that custom audience has to have at least 100 people to create a lookalike audience. All right. So the first 4 custom audiences that you're going to create. Hold on a second here. I'm going to see something. Yeah, so we'll walk you through the two website custom audiences next. So you're going to do the all contacts, all customers, just like I showed you. Then you're going to do all website visitors, and you're going to do conversion thank you page URL. And for each one of these, you're going to create the lookalike audience afterwards. So that's why I showed you that a second ago. You're just going to create a custom audience, custom audience, custom audience, custom audience. But on the last step of each one, you're also going to just create a lookalike audience right there at the same time. It'll just simplify it for you. So let's go to steps 3 and 4 here, or audiences 3 and 4. And we're going to create a website custom audience for all visitors. So what I would do is back in that same actually the same one here. We're going to go back one step, actually. 1 second here. So let's go up. I think there's one little image missing here. Bum, 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 bum. Just in case. Yeah, that totally was. All right, so for those of you that are beginners, a lot of you already know this, but so basically after you click, let's just do this. Remember over here back on step 1, when you click, you can create audience, and you can click custom audience lookalike or saved. You're going to create custom audience, right? The next thing that's going to happen is you're going to hit this one here, and you can select customer list or website traffic. All right, so you're going to, and when you create your customer list, your all contacts and your all customers, you're going to use customer list, okay? So you're going to use customer list for number 1 and number 2. And then number 3 and number 4, these are website custom audiences. So now you're going to go down here and you're going to use customer or website traffic as your selection. So you're going to click on that, and this window is going to pop up here, and what you're going to do is you're going to choose anyone who visits your website, and you're going to put in your domain. So I would put dominatewebmedia.com, right? And so it's anybody who visits my website. So it doesn't matter what page they land on, they're going to be added to this audience. I like to look at it as an invisible list. Okay, so out of this audience, so I can track anybody that's been there for the last 180 days. And after you create this audience, Facebook will give you a little code, a pixel. It's like a tracking code, and you're going to paste that. You're going to copy and paste that code in the same section of your website, in the head of your website, so it goes site-wide, where you would put Google Analytics. That's all you have to know. So your Facebook audience pixel, there's only one code you're going to use. And when you create different pages, like my thank you page, specific blog posts, landing pages, they all use the same code. There's only one code. It's just like Google Analytics. You just have one code that you put in the head of the same section you would put Google Analytics. And then when you want to create different specific pages, you just use Facebook to do that right here. Just like in Google Analytics, you would select certain URLs and to track and see what's going on. But you're just going to, so I'm going to go site-wide, anyone who visits my website. So that's going to be DWM, Dominate Web Media, site-wide, okay? The next one I'm going to do is my conversion page thank you, conversion thank you page custom audience. So now I'm going to select people who visit specific web pages, And then in this case, I might do, maybe it's my thank you page URL after they opt in for a webinar. So it's meant to be dominatewebmedia.com/thank you, for ads webinar, social automation webinar, whatever the URL is. I'm going to put that right in here. And so I can track that for 30 days, 180 days. That's the max. Just for the first one you're going to create, go ahead and use 180 here. Facebook was being finicky when I actually created these screenshots. It wasn't letting me create new ones for some reason. But so you're going to have 180 for this first one, but that's all you do. And then you're going to name it here. And now Facebook will, because you have that code one time on your site that's in the same spot Google Analytics goes, they're going to create this audience for you. It's really cool. So when you're running your ads, you can target people who landed on that page, or you can exclude people who landed on that page. So those are the main those are the four. So let's those are the four main audiences. Okay, let's recap those. We'll go ahead and I'm going to recap those right here. And we got a couple questions. So a couple questions. Great question from Casey is, so are you saying you do a lookalike audience for each of the four audiences? I thought your initial slide said 4 custom audiences plus 1 lookalike. That's a great question. You want to lookalike for each one. All right. So you're going to go plus lookalike 1%. Each one. So like I said, this is a new training for people because it's for the people that feel like they get stuck. And I think this is going to be a really good template for you. And the key is just, you don't have to have all this memorized right now, is really having this to refer back to. Okay. But I'm going to give you a step-by-step process, an action plan right towards the end of this. But like I said, you get to create these at the same time, right? That last step that Facebook lets you create the lookalike right there, right after you upload your contacts, customers, you create your all website visitors, thank you page, URL, because this is important to have this. This is what a lot of people leave out. They forget this one until they've been running for a while. So, all right. So now we're 1 second here. Yeah. So in just a minute, I will show you what these look like in the ads manager when you're creating these. Okay. Right now you're just creating your audiences. I'm going to show you what the audiences look like when you're actually setting up your targeting and you're naming your ad sets in a second here. So just stay with me. Okay. Let's see here. So a question from Kim is, don't you need a special conversion pixel in order to track conversions, or is the general pixel in addition to the conversion pixel? So this is something that's a little bit more advanced, not more advanced, it's just more complex to explain. And like literally we have one of our webinars inside Facebook Ads Blueprint where we talk about this conversion pixels and audiences for an hour straight, an hour and 15 minutes. And so I can't cover all that on this training. But basically when you're talking about tracking your conversions, your conversion pixel is going to be, it is a different pixel, even though Facebook's changing that and transitioning to kind of a different system. But right now, basically you have a website, a conversion pixel is going to track your conversions, but your custom audiences are what you're going to use for your targeting, okay, and creating your ads. You're going to definitely still want to track conversions with your conversion pixel. We, like I said, it's just, if you can just understand that, that's fine. And if you want more advanced on a specific, really walking you through that whole process, I've got another, I'll show you how you can get access to that at the end of this, but I just can't cover all that on this training. It's too much information. So basically what you're going to do, where we're at here. So like I said, in review, you're going to have all contacts, all customers plus lookalike, all website plus lookalike, conversion page, thank you page plus lookalike. All right. So now Step number 2. Once you have those in your audiences section, now it's time to really figure out what you want to do and create your ads. And I'm going to show you how to organize these ad sets here in a second too, okay? So step 2 is you're going to determine your goal. And one of the best things to do is just to look at Facebook. This is inside the Power Editor when you create a new campaign. They ask you to create your objective here, and they have all these different objectives, and there's a lot of different ones, and you're gonna ignore most of them. So the first thing you want to do is figure out what's your goal. Is your goal to generate leads? Is your goal to get people to download some kind of execution guide, cheat sheets, checklist, opt in to watch a video? Is it to register for a webinar? Is it a 2-step order form to get something free plus shipping? Is it to sign up for your email list? Or is it to get people to visit your blog and read an article? Is it to get them to like your page, become a fan? Is it to show up at your local business? Lots of different things you can do. And I'm going to tell you right now, in most cases, we suggest using website conversions for the objective. Okay? If you're driving traffic to a webinar, whether it's a video ad, a regular image link post ad, doesn't matter. If your goal is to get conversions, use website conversions for the objective. Okay? And I talk about this more when I go into more detail on the different types of ads you can run. In this specific webinar, I want you to think about your first campaign, what your goal is. Now, if it's to drive traffic to a blog post, probably going to want to use clicks to website, right? Because your goal is to get them to click off Facebook and go read a blog post. Now, if it's to watch a video, but the goal of the video is to get them to click through and register for a webinar, like I've got a video ad running in Facebook that goes to a webinar registration. I don't use video views because my goal is not to really necessarily get video views. My goal is to get website conversions. So I still use that as the objective. Facebook's objectives really, really work. If you try to hack this, in most cases, it doesn't work. It backfires. And we've learned that a lot from our account partner manager. And so a lot of cases, if you're getting bad results or not getting impressions, it's usually not a matter of bidding and those types of things. It's usually purely a matter of creative and targeting. So if you want to choose the objective that you're really trying to accomplish. So let's say for today's sake of today's training, your goal is to generate leads. All right. So we're going to use website conversions for the objective, and you're going to create campaign. Now, if you're in the ads manager and you're not using the Power Editor yet, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks slightly different, but not a whole lot different. So if I want to use the ads manager, Facebook has a slightly different naming convention for the objectives. They like to confuse us as much as possible. With the ads manager, they're trying to kind of name it for whatever your ultimate, benefit is. Boost your posts. In the other case, and I'll take a screenshot of this so you can see the difference here. But because it's can be confusing, they like to confuse us. But what we're gonna do is, I just want you to realize that I like using the Power Editor. Once you start getting used to Facebook, you're going to want to use the Power Editor more and more and more. There's a lot of reasons why. At first, it can feel confusing and clunky, but it's a lot faster and it works a lot better when it comes to duplicating things and stuff. But website conversions right there. And here, it's called increase conversions on your website. Not much difference, right? Sending people to your website. That would be clicks to website. That's the same thing. But if you use this one in the Ads Manager and then you go submit your campaign, it's going to be called clicks to website. That's what it's going to be called. So promote your page, that's going to be page likes. So that's just Power Editor, Ads Manager. So we're going to use increase conversions to your website right there. Website conversions, if you're using the Power Editor, that's going to be the objective we're going to use. So step 3 is to publish Facebook appropriate content or landing page. Okay, this could be a blog post, it could be a landing page. Like I said, if you're just starting out on Facebook and you want to get some wins, I would probably recommend driving traffic to a landing page starting out, as long as you're really careful with your ad copy and your everything that is very, very in adhering to Facebook's ad policy guidelines. I would definitely recommend reading Facebook's ad policy at least every couple weeks. You can just search Facebook ad policy in Google. The other thing is we have a Facebook ad account safety checklist inside our Facebook Ads Blueprint program in the Create Campaign section, in the Create Campaign module. And I would go through this, print it out, and keep it by your side. This not only helps for tactical stuff, but it also talks about just the languaging and the messaging that you should use with Facebook and how they want a positive environment and not a negative environment. There's a lot of interesting things that they want. And the thing is, too, that we've found in a lot of cases is a lot of times with Facebook wants that positive environment. Their goal is to improve the user experience, period, with all ads. So if you're using the negative fear of loss ad copy, a lot of cases you're going to get your ads disapproved. And you know what? We find they don't work as well a lot on Facebook, actually. People respond better to the positive stuff, and it's not, really, really traditional copywriters will a lot of times have troubles on Facebook initially until they adapt, because you have to focus a lot of times more on the features of the product or service than as much as the specific benefits like fat loss or those types of things, because sometimes Facebook doesn't like, well, in a lot of cases they don't, but like I said, I'll show you how you can get access to this and a lot more details on this specific stuff. We actually ran an entire webinar for our Facebook Ads University members a couple weeks ago. We spent an hour and 20 minutes just on how to keep your account safe, and it was really good. So a lot of questions, Q&A. So that's important there. You're going to publish that if you don't already have it published. Step 4, you're going to define your target audience. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through in a second here your first 4 ad sets. So and another great resource I've got inside my Blueprint program is target audience research checklists. Okay, and 2 separate videos on specifically how to determine the right platform for one, then also how to find the right target audiences using great tools, which I'll list out right here for you. Target audience research that we go through on those trainings is Facebook Audience Insights, Facebook Search, Ads Manager Suggested Interests, and then Google and Amazon. Okay, and then also I talk a lot about the size of your audiences and how many ad sets you should use and those types of things. But for the purpose of today's training, I'm going to give you the template to start with. Okay, I'm going to give you the template to start with so you can get momentum and then add to it. That's the key. So all right, step 5 is going to be create your campaign with your first 4 ad sets. All right, you're going to create your campaign with your first 4 ad sets and use website conversions if your goal is to generate leads or sales. Yes, Facebook has a new objective and it's called lead generation. Starting out, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using that. There's yes and no. I mean, I've seen it's if I go back to this here, you'll see one down here that's called lead generation new here. And then you have website conversions. Some of you might be wondering, I think we have a question about this right now from Taps, might be this question. So if your goal is to generate leads, normally we use website conversions starting out. Facebook has a really cool new ad format where you can use lead generation and they can opt in right in the newsfeed. It's only for mobile devices. Okay, this is something you can test out too. Totally test it out. It's really simple to set up. The problem is you have to have third-party software to integrate it to have the leads go into your system. Otherwise, they just put the contact information right in your Facebook page, and you have to download them. They won't go into your system automatically without having a third-party software like SyncSumo. But you can try this out if you want. Starting out, I would just focus on this because it's proven and it'll be a little more make more sense for you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create your first campaign with 4 ad sets. So if let's say we're using the website conversion goal in this case, and you can use the Power Editor if you want. You can use the Ads Manager. You don't have to use the Power Editor starting out. Okay. Now, first 4 ad sets. This is where you're going to be going back to those custom audiences that we created and the target audience that we researched that we did. Number 1 is going to be your lowest hanging fruit. This is going to be your all contacts custom audience plus website visitors, right? So let's say you've got some leads already, but you're doing something different. Maybe you're doing a new lead magnet. Maybe it's a webinar registration, and you might normally send, if you would send an email out to your list about it, then you would also include that list in your targeting, right? Because we know that people, unless you have 100% open rate on your emails, then Facebook, we want to be running Facebook ads, right? Because we know the average open rate might be around 20%. The open emails with Facebook, you can bump that 20% up closer to like 75% because they'll now see your same message in the news feed, right? So, but if you don't want to target your contacts, you can just target your website visitors, and then you're going to exclude the people that opt in, right? Exclude your conversion thank you page visitors, and I'm going to show you a graphic in a second. Number 2 is going to be your fans. Okay, these need to be separate ad sets. This is going to be a fan. And the cool thing about Facebook is you can duplicate this ad set. Once you create this one, let's say you want to target all contacts and website visitors and people that are 31 years old to 55 years old, male and female, and in the United States. Once I do that and I create my ad, I upload my image, create my ad copy, I can duplicate that entire ad set, and I'll already have the ad in there, all the demographics and everything. All I'll have to do is just change my targeting slightly. So what I'll do now is I'll just go to target my fans, okay? And you can use connection targeting on Facebook, and we're going to exclude. Whoops, I kept the minus in there. Minus opt-in thank you page visitors, it means the same thing. I just wrote it out a little bit better because that's what it looks like in Facebook. It says exclude. So you're going to target your fans, excluding thank you page visitors. The next audience is going to be that lookalike audience we created, right? So let's target your lookalike audience of all your contacts. Or you can do all your customers, okay? And if you want to do both, you can do both. You just have another ad set. So you'll have 5 ad sets instead of 4. Now, this is a question that is really, this is a really, really common challenge for people right here is they think, okay, well, I've got 500 customers and I've got 5,000 subscribers or contacts. I want to use my customer lookalike audience because those are the people that I want. I want people that are similar to my customers, not similar to my leads, because it's more qualified, right? Well, that's, in a lot of cases, that is what you want to do and it works the best. However, if this list has a lot more volume, has a lot more data, more contacts than this list, odds are it's actually going to be a better lookalike audience too. So let's say you have 5,000 all contacts and you have 500 customers. You're going to create a lookalike audience for each of them. But my guess is the lookalike audience for your 5,000 contacts is going to be a lot better audience than the 500 customers. And I've seen that in lots of different cases. It's just because Facebook has so much more data to work with. They just have more data, and they recommend the same thing. Okay, let's say that you only have 500 contacts, and that might be a lot. That's not like only if you haven't been doing this that long. 500 contacts is a great momentum, right? So let's say you have 500 contacts and you have 50 customers, but you have 3,000 fans or 3,000 website visitors. Then I would create your lookalike based on your website visitors or fans is probably better than your contacts, right? So it's higher up in the funnel, right? People that visited your website, they haven't even opted in yet, but there's 3,000 of them compared to 500 of these. So your 3,000 website visitors might end up being a better lookalike audience. So just keep it simple. We like to recommend all contacts, but try to, whichever your largest list is, whichever your largest audience is that you can create a lookalike audience based off, that's probably going to be your best one starting out. And then as you generate leads, your lookalike audience based on your leads will start to get better and better and better as Facebook gets more data. Like I said before, the compounding momentum is starting to happen. So, okay, so let's see here. Fed believer. Not sure what that means. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is, and I'm not sure, Chuck, I'm not sure what your question exactly is there. So number 4 is you're going to create an ad set with 4 to 6 interests that you found in your target audience research. And then we're going to exclude your thank you page visitors. So what this is let's say I'm doing my research and I find that I want, for my case, I find things like Digital Marketer and Ryan Deiss and Frank Kern and Infusionsoft and maybe a few of those interests I think are my best interests from all my research on my research that I did. So I might start out with one ad set with Frank Kern, Ryan Deiss, Digital Marketer, Infusionsoft, Amy Porterfield. Maybe I put all 5 of those into one ad set, and that's going to be that ad set. That's going to be an ad set for my targeting. Okay, there's not going to be any lookalikes or anything in that specific one. Now, that's your first 4 ad sets. Boom. Okay. Now, if you want to separate out these interests, totally good to do. We recommend doing that in a lot of cases because you can learn more about those specific interests. Like if I want to have Frank Kern as a separate interest from Digital Marketer, as a separate interest from Infusionsoft, you can totally do that, okay? This one here, this last one, is you can combine them. Normally we like to separate them out just so we can kind of really see the data and how they do individually, and then we like to start combining them and doing like combination stuff that I talk more about in our more advanced scaling modules, which we're actually doing a live members only webinar tomorrow, Tuesday, covering how to scale and how to scale your campaigns without your conversion costs skyrocketing. So we really talk about more advanced strategies, but you don't want to try to do all that. Like I said, this is what you're going to start with right here. And if you put your 4 or 5 or 6 in there, if you do a lot of good research, you'll find that this might end up being the best audience and it might end up doing really well. So let's see here. All right. Whoops. All right. So and remember I said I was going to show you a little bit more what it looks like here. This is what it looks like in the ads manager. So this here, in this case, what I'm targeting is all website visitors, right? So this is WCA, it stands for Website Custom Audience. All website visitors, and then I'm excluding the leads, right? Excluding webinar registrations. So this is the thank you page. They landed on the thank you page, so we're going to exclude them from the campaign. In this case, it's 120,000 people. In your case, it might only be 5,000, okay? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're going to use that. Those are going to be really good audiences normally. So that's a warm custom audience, okay? Now, another one you can do is the connection targeting, right? You just target your fans, and that's down a little bit lower on the ads manager. And then the next one would be your lookalike audience targeting. So in this case, we're targeting 1% lookalike all subscribers, okay? and then we're excluding people who opt in. Okay, in this case. So look at the size of this audience, 1.9 million. So I haven't done any demographic narrowing down of, so it's just all age groups, all men and women, just in the US, and it's that 1.9 million. If I start to lower some of this will go down. So that's how it looks in the ads manager. So you're going to include this audience, exclude this audience. Interest targeting. Now let's say I want to target Ryan Deiss. That's 400,000 people. I might, if I want, for my first audience, I might select Ryan Deiss, Frank Kern, Eben Pagan, Mike Filsaime, and I might put them all in one interest starting out to get some momentum. Okay, if you want to separate those out into different ad sets, totally fine. We recommend a lot of times starting out that way so you can learn the data if you're a little bit more advanced. But that's it's just that's how it's just a template for you to start with here, and this will really work for you. Okay. So notice how it looks inside my ads manager here. So this is some of the ads here. This is ordered in like alphabetical, and it worked out so these 4 ad sets were right together. So perfect. So you've got your this is like 6 or 7 DM gurus, right? Digital marketer gurus. So you've got like 6 or 7 digital marketer gurus all together in an ad set. Another ad set here, all contacts lookalike. Okay, this is just a lookalike all contacts. It's not layered with any interest or anything like that, which is more advanced strategies that we talk about. Okay, and then you've got dominant web media fans, and then you've got dominate web media visitors, which are always normally going to be in a lot of cases your best results, and same with your fans and stuff too. So your lookalike audience only might not do very well. A lot of times your lookalike audience, if you don't have much data on this, will be not a very good audience. A lot of times though, if you have a lot of contacts and a lot of leads, and this might be one of your best audiences. So this was just kind of starting out here, but and then there's cases where you can target somebody that's part of a lookalike audience and they also like one of these gurus here. So but that's your basic foundation right there. So all right, so your action steps. Tara's got a great question for conversion goal. What do you find works best at the moment, image ads or video ads? I'll get to that and during the Q&A. Maybe Shanette, you can cue that up for me in a minute when I start doing the Q&A, because that's a great question. So, and the and or targeting, Tara, yeah, there's a lot of different things that we can do there. We can eventually, once you get started here, you're not going to have 4 ad sets in your campaign. After you start getting momentum, you're going to end up having, we have campaigns where there's 50 ad sets, 30, 40 ad sets after a while. So this is just your foundation to start with. Lots of and or targeting that we can do. So, and that's what we're going to really, the scaling stuff is what we're going to be talking about more inside our my Facebook Ads University, which I can show you here in a minute how you can get free access to. So your action plan right now, your action steps for today, I'm going to give you a kind of a little 5-step plan here. So create your core custom audiences, just like I talked about. I just showed you how to do that. Okay. Number 2 is you're going to create one campaign type to set up. So let's figure it out what it is. Maybe it's website conversions, and you're gonna. It might be an image like a link post ad, or that's normally going to be your easiest to set up. I love video ads, which I've talked about on several occasions. Our video, if you are going to do a video ad, you should still do a link post image based ad too. So it just kind of depends on your situation, on which one you want to do. But starting out, let's just do like a regular link post where the image is clickable. Okay, and you're going to use website conversions, and you're going to make sure that your content is Facebook appropriate. Okay, and then you're going to edit it up if it's not, or you're going to create it and publish it. And that, when I say content, I mean blog content or landing page. Landing page is also content, right? So sales page maybe. And then you're going to create your image and ad copy. So you want to kind of have that ready. If you want, you can kind of create your ad copy right in the ads manager if you want, or when you create your post. But normally you're going to want to have a couple images ready, ahead of time. And we suggest using canva.com, and it's an awesome free tool. It's just so cool. And just go use canva.com for that. And then you're going to, make sure you've got all the ad policy stuff that we talk about in our checklist there, hereby, and the images too. So step 4, create your campaign. Boom. You're going to create your campaign, and you're going to use this foundation and then start using the data to start using Facebook's awesome reporting, see how people are doing in the different placements, like how is mobile doing compared to desktop? How's the news feed doing compared to the right column? How is my lookalike audience doing compared to my interests-based audiences? And Facebook's going to tell you what to do next. So the next thing to do is to scale your campaigns, all right? And then the other thing that I really, really recommend is try to stay on the cutting edge, stay relevant, keep your account safe, and get massively awesome ideas to keep growing, because this stuff's changing every single day, every single week, every single month. And I'm going to give you a couple of ways that you can do that. Number 1 is Facebook for Business. Go search this. You can find it on the internet. This is where I found the definitions for custom audience and lookalike audience. All right, it's got great information in here. Ad policy stuff's in here. So just go use this. As far as like a lot of the strategies, they don't go really in depth. But if you want to get really more step-by-step stuff, checklists, execution guides, support, feel like you're part of a workshop every day. This is what we do.